Most people think wealth is obvious: loud cars, luxury clothes, perfect vacations on Instagram. But that's not real wealth. That's performance. Real wealth is quiet. So quiet that most people who are actually getting rich don't even feel rich yet because they're not celebrating. They're too busy doing the boring things that work: saving when it's uncomfortable, investing when it's boring, building systems while everyone else is chasing vibes. And that's the dangerous part, because if you wait until you feel rich to start acting rich, you'll never get there. In this video, I'm going to show you the subtle signs you're quietly getting rich, even if your life doesn't look impressive yet. No hype, no fake motivation, just the real signals that separate people who escape the salary trap from people who stay stuck in it forever. Because the truth is simple: the richest people don't wait for proof. They do the work first, and the money shows up later. My name is Peter. I spend an unhealthy amount of time thinking about money, psychology, and why some people move through financial stress like it's nothing, while others panic over every bank notification. If you've ever wondered what it actually feels like to go from broke to stable to quietly wealthy, and how each stage changes the way you think and make decisions, subscribe. And if this video clears things up for you, hit like. It helps me more than you think. Here's the part nobody tells you about building real wealth: it doesn't feel like winning the lottery. There's no moment where confetti falls from the ceiling, no alert that says, "Congrats, you made it." Most of the time, getting rich feels uneventful, sometimes even boring. It's skipping the impulse buy. It's saying no while everyone else says yes. It's choosing discomfort today so your future self doesn't feel trapped tomorrow. And if you recognize even one or two of these signs in your life, you're already ahead of most people, even if it doesn't feel that way yet. Sign number one: living below your means. You've mastered living below your means. Not extreme frugality, not counting every penny, but intentional spending. You don't buy things to impress people you don't even like. Your lifestyle simply costs less than what you earn. Let me show you the difference. Richard earns $75,000 a year and spends $55,000. That $20,000 gap, that's not savings. That's options. Options to invest. Options to say no. Options to walk away from bad situations. Peter also earns $75,000, but he spends $80,000. Every raise disappears into a nicer apartment, a better car, a slightly upgraded lifestyle. From the outside, Peter looks successful. On the inside, he feels broke. That gap between what you earn and what you spend is the difference between financial stress and financial peace. Track your spending for 1 month. If the gap is growing, even slowly, you're doing something most people never figure out. Sign number two: thinking in decades, not days. You think long term. Most people chase quick wins: the next bonus, the next refund, the next once in a lifetime opportunity. You don't. You care more about compounding than excitement, more about consistency than hype. Richard invests $500 a month into boring index funds and barely checks the account. When the market drops, he keeps going. When headlines panic, he ignores them. 20 years later, $120,000 in contributions turns into hundreds of thousands in wealth. Peter jumps from thing to thing: crypto, day trading, side hustles, always chasing the next shortcut. 20 years later, he has stories, not wealth. Quiet wealth isn't exciting, it's automatic, it's boring, and it works. If you're thinking in decades, you are already ahead of 90% of people. Sign number three: you have a buffer and you don't talk about it. You're not living paycheck to paycheck anymore, and you don't post about it. You've built a buffer, an emergency fund, money you don't need right now. Your car breaks down. Annoying, not a crisis. Your company announces layoffs. Stressful, but not paralyzing. That's power. Most people only understand the value of a buffer after something goes wrong. You built yours before it happened. That's the mindset of someone quietly getting rich. Sign number 4, you stopped comparing yourself to other people. Your coworker bought a new car. For a second, your brain asks, am I falling behind? Your friend just went to Greece. Now you're wondering if you should take a trip you can't really afford. That's how the trap works. Social media turns everyone else's spending into a scoreboard you never agreed to play. But when you're quietly getting rich, something changes. You stop caring. Not because you're above it, but because you finally understand what you're looking at. Most visible wealth is either financed or borrowed from someone's future. Rich Richard sees his friend buy a $60,000 truck and thinks, hope that makes him happy. No jealousy. He knows his $15,000 used Toyota and his growing investments are the better move for his life. Peter sees the same truck and thinks, I need to upgrade too. He finances $50,000 at 7% interest. 2 years later, he's upside down on the loan and stressed about the payments. When you stop comparing, you stop letting other people's choices dictate your future. You build on your timeline, your values, your plan. That's how you become immune to marketing, peer pressure, and FOMO. 3 forces that keep most people broke forever. Sign number 5, money isn't the main character anymore. When you're broke, money dominates your thoughts. Every lunch, every bill, every gas stop. It's constant mental math and it's exhausting. But when quiet wealth starts forming, something shifts. Money moves to the background. Not because you have unlimited amounts, but because you built systems. Savings are automated, bills are on autopilot, investments run whether you think about them or not. Richard doesn't obsess over credit card points anymore. He doesn't chase every new hack. His finances are boring, and that's the point. Once a year, he rebalances. The rest of the time, his mental energy goes somewhere else. Time with family, projects that actually matter, long-term thinking. Peter still talks about money all the time. Deals, side hustles, shortcuts, because without systems, everything requires attention. He's exhausted, not from building wealth, but from constantly managing chaos. When money becomes background noise instead of daily stress, you've leveled up. Quiet money often leads to a loud life. Sign number 6, you feel rich in time, not just money. Most people chase money their entire lives. The quietly wealthy start chasing time. If you've noticed yourself valuing space over stuff, if you've stopped glorifying busy, if you crave control over your calendar, that's not laziness, that's wealth forming. When you're broke, you trade time for money. Clock in, grind, repeat. But when finances stabilize, you realize something dangerous. Money can buy time, time to think, time to rest, time to live intentionally. Richard pays $150 a month to have his apartment cleaned. That buys him 3 hours he spends with his kids or working on something he actually enjoys. He says no to meetings that don't matter. His calendar has white space. Peter does everything himself to save money. Weekends disappear into chores. His calendar is packed. He feels busy, important, and exhausted. You start paying for convenience, not discounts. You say no more often. You let go of urgency. These are quiet upgrades, internal signs of wealth most people never notice until it's too late. Sign number 7, you stopped making excuses and started taking ownership. This is the biggest shift. When you are quietly getting rich, the way you talk about money changes. You stop saying, I can't afford that, and start saying, that's not a priority right now. You stop blaming your income, your past, the economy, and start focusing on what you control. Richard earns $65,000 in a high-cost city. He doesn't complain about rent or taxes. He adapts. Roommate, bike to work, meal prep. When people ask why he hasn't upgraded his lifestyle, he doesn't justify himself. I'm building my investments first. The luxury apartment can wait. Peter earns the same $65,000, but he explains why saving is impossible, rent is too high, loans are crushing. He deserves to enjoy his money. The problems are real, but he uses them as excuses instead of constraints. 5 years later, Richard has $85,000 invested. Peter has $4,000 and a lot of reasons. Ownership puts you back in control. You stop waiting for perfect conditions and start working with reality. And when you own your money starts working for you. If you recognized even one or two of these signs, you're already ahead. You're not just surviving, you're not just getting by. You're quietly building something resilient, something a recession can't erase, something a job loss can't destroy, something doubt can't touch. So keep going. Because if it doesn't feel like you're getting rich yet, you probably are, just quietly. And that's exactly how it should be. If this made you rethink how money actually works, hit the like button. It tells the algorithm this content matters. Subscribe if you want to stay ahead of the financial traps most people fall into. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.